Children will be taught to love America. Children will be taught to be patriots. Children will be taught civic values for schools that want federal taxpayer funding. So as we close the Department of Education and we provide funding to states, we are going to make sure that these funds are not being used to promote communist ideology. For any nation to be successful, it cannot teach its children to hate themselves and to hate their country. So these are a few of the areas in which President Trump has fought the cancerous communist woke culture that was destroying this country, where we were led to believe that men were women, that women were men, that racial discrimination was good, that merit was bad, and that safety and physical security mattered less than the feelings of liberal ideologues.
Absolutely wild from Stephen Miller. I mean, to say children will be taught to love America, taught to be patriots, and taught civic values, what does that mean? What does being a patriot mean? What does civic values mean, especially when you have a government right now that is abandoning the rule of law, abandoning due process, saying that the office of the president does not have to answer to Congress or to the judiciary branch. There's no checks and balances. Dismantling USAID, dismantling AmeriCorps, all these things. Like, what does that mean to have civic values in the MAGA party? Also, making sure that funds aren't being used to promote communist ideology. When did everything that MAGA didn't like become communist? I don't remember when that happened, but somehow today communism is basically anything that MAGA doesn't like. Because as you heard, Stephen Miller goes on to say, basically that they're going to ensure that we're not teaching about trans people, right? Like, to be able to say that the LGBTQ community exists and that they deserve the same basic rights as everybody else is somehow now communist. Everything seems to be communist, because you hear this all the time when people are talking about any kind of issue, including, foreign policy issues or Medicare for all or ensuring that people get paid a living wage, very basic things. Somehow they're all communist, including, I can't remember if it was Lauren Boebert or Marjorie Taylor Greene, but saying that, going against the stock, betting in the stock market, Wall Street, somehow we're communist. Like, that's the antithesis of communism. But sure, it's just a wild time that we live in. And for Stephen Miller to be saying this, in this very, I don't know, controlling way, like they're getting rid of the Department of Education to then further control what people are being taught and ensuring that you're going to be taught patriotism and loving America and all these. It's just, how are you going to enforce that? What does that look like in a lesson plan? And do we really want to have kids that aren't questioning their government, not, question the leadership, the history of the nation? I mean, it's basic facts, right? These people just want to whitewash our entire history as a country. And for what? So that they can pretend that the Christian white nationalists were actually the best thing for this country? That's basically what they're trying to do, right? They want to erase every other piece of history and then just speak about the narrative that they want to put forward. We're getting dangerously close to being North Korea.